I think, right? Happy Wednesday.
All day.
So today's a special, Scarlett says, and I have a guest today, Judy Shrem. If I'm saying it pronouncedly. Okay. And so I help women look good with their clothes and, look professional and feel good. But Judy, make sure that you look good professionally with your social media profile, really mostly business, which is LinkedIn, because listen, when you want to represent your company, your business, you want to grow your brand, you want to grow your business, it's important that your profile is sending the right impression. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. So Judy has some really good information. We were chatting before, and I said, stop talking. I want you to share it here. So let me just look at my notes real fast. So Judy, just introduce yourself just a little before we talk about your good points.
Sure. So my name is Judy Schramm, and I run a marketing agency called Pro Resource. And what we do is specialize in working with business owners, CEOs, executives who want a strong personal presence online so that they can raise their visibility and grow their business faster with less effort.
Right. So we pretty much serve the same peeps, So, you mentioned how there's like 6 components to a really powerful LinkedIn presence. And I'd love for you to share those 6, because there's a few things I'm like going, I didn't know that. So start sharing, please.
Okay. So the first thing we look at is findability, because, everyone is meeting you for the first time now online. And if you meet someone in a networking event, or they get referred to you, or they just hear about you, they find your name somewhere, first thing they're going to do is go Google you, and your LinkedIn profile is going to be at the top of the search results if you've got a good LinkedIn profile. So how can you make yourself findable by the people you want to be found by? That's part 1. Part 2 is, when they find you, what kind of an impression are you making? We call that first impressions. So they get to your LinkedIn profile. Is it empty? Is it outdated? Do you have a 30-year-old photo? You want to impress people in that first couple of seconds. It's just like when you meet someone in the real world, that you need to look good.
Right. They say you make a judgment, I think, within 3 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you do that online too.
Yeah.
So how strong is the presence that you're making online? Because your online presence is working for you 24/7, 365 days a year. Right. You really need to look good.
Right. I love that. That's true. What about the fact that I sometimes look at someone's LinkedIn profile and it's boring?
Yes. Well, so that kind of fits into our third group category, which is relevance. So are you speaking to the audience that you care about? So if you're a business owner and you're trying to get new clients on LinkedIn, your profile should not talk about why someone should hire you. It needs to have the information that the people you care about will care about. And so first of all, is it even relevant? And then second of all, is it giving them the information that they need to learn about you? And then the interesting part falls into our 4th category, which we call know, like, and trust, because people are not going to do business with you until they feel like they know who you are, they like you, and they can trust you.
Sorry.
And so you can use your social media presence to create that, to get people interested, to feel like they understand where you're coming from, and that, really stand out, be memorable, and also make them feel like you're the kind of person they'd want to do business with. And then the last 2 categories are thought leadership and then conversations. And, thought leadership is kind of obvious, right? You want people to get a sense of how you think and, your expertise and what you can do and how you can help them. And then in conversations, so a lot of people think of social media just as a place where they promote their business and they talk. And other people think of social media as a place where they absorb information, they learn. But the highest level of social media is the combination of talking and listening. So having conversations. Because if you really want to get results from social media, you're going to want to talk to people, meet people in social media, have initial conversations with them, but then take it offline so that you can really get to know them and build the relationship.
Talking and listening, though, honestly, though, even in a relationship, or if you go to you used to go to a dinner party or a networking event, or even now meeting, networking on Zoom, there's nothing worse than someone that just keeps talking and doesn't listen to you or ask about you. So it's kind of like, it's good advice, period.
Well, what's interesting to me is that people seem to think that behaviors in social media that they would never do in the real world are just fine. It's like you would never go into a networking event, reach out, shake somebody's hand and say, "I'm Judy, buy from me." Right. And then go to the next person, "I'm Judy, buy from me." And yet you see people doing that online. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, there used to be a lot of business card handouts. "Hi, I'm Sally. Here. Hi, I'm Sally."
But did that ever work?
No, and everybody would say, "I hope Sally doesn't come next time."
Yeah, exactly. Somebody you don't want to talk to at the next event.
Right. Exactly. I know that a headshot is really important. And I mean, I work with a lot of people to help them have a great headshot, with what they wear and all that, because, it's a turnoff when I go to someone's profile and I don't see a picture. To me, it's not professional. My own husband didn't have a photo for a long time. And I kept explaining, I know you're not interested in being on this platform, but if your name is here, you have to have a picture. So tell me about why people still have nothing there, no photo.
Yeah, so some people don't like the way they look in a photo, and they don't have a good one. I've heard that excuse a lot. There are also people who just tend to, avoid having photos taken, and that creates something that we see from time to time where, and I have to say, most often it's a guy who is using his wedding photo as his LinkedIn profile. You can tell because there's a boutonniere and it's a tuxedo and there's a woman's arm, woman's hand on his shoulder. And, it's like, okay, seriously, you can do better.
Yeah, and hopefully before he drank too much too, hopefully.
Sometimes not, which is pretty appalling. But the one thing that I think a lot of people don't even realize their photo isn't showing, because I have conversations with people all the time and I show them what I see when I go to their profile and there's no photo. And they'll say, "I uploaded a photo, it's there." But they don't realize their security settings are set to only show the photo to their connections.
You mentioned that to me and I was shocked. How do you fix that?
So you go into your settings, privacy and settings, which is a very complex section in the LinkedIn profile now, because you have so many options to tune what people see and what they don't see. And it's like 4 pages long of all the choices that you have. But this is one that's very simple, very straightforward. You just go in, if you click on your photo in the top navigation bar and then scroll down there, you'll get to privacy and settings. Click on that and then go through there and just scroll down on the page until you see LinkedIn profile photo visibility, and open that to everyone, because people want to know who you are. And, at some point we're going to go back to meeting in person, and you're going to be meeting people in Starbucks. And they're, if your profile photo is not on your profile, they're going to have no idea what you look like. Right. They're going to be going up to random strangers and asking.
I wrote this down because I had no idea, and I hope mine is visible. I think it is, but
it is.
I don't even understand why that's an option on LinkedIn. It really shouldn't be on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, they're really trying to give people a lot of control over what they share and what they don't share. And there are people who, are concerned about privacy, and they don't want their profile photo showing, but I think that's a mistake.
I think it's a mistake too. Yeah, I really do. And I have to say, I judge. I try not to judge people because I don't want to live like that. But on LinkedIn, I do. And if I don't see a photo, I immediately think not professional, just not professional. So
Right. Right. Yeah. LinkedIn has data showing that people who have visible photos get 14 times more profile views.
Wow.
So there are a lot of people out there who are making a decision that if they can't see what you look like, they're not going to bother.
You told me a story about a client of yours that you had them improve their photo. Can you
Yeah. So that was actually somebody who worked for me, not even a client. And we were doing some experiments, and she had a fine profile photo. There was nothing wrong with it. It was cropped nicely. She was dressed well, good hair. And, but we sent her to a professional photographer as as an experiment. And so that up-leveled her look so that she looked like more of an executive. It was just a more polished look. And we increased the views on her profile from that change alone by a third.
Okay. It
was amazing. People really do. They can tell. And if you have a really great photo and a great look, more people come because they think, wow, that person is important. That person, is very polished. They must be,
right.
Not a celebrity, but, someone who is known.
Well, I always say that the way you present yourself, it represents how successful you are and how much of an expert you are. And right. And if you're kind of doing it half-assed, sorry for that technical term, that's what comes across. So yeah, so I get it. When a really pretty picture of you that your friend took or a nice selfie or whatever, I understand the difference between that and a professional shot. You can see the difference. You're right. You can see the difference.
You can. And a really good photographer knows how to put the look you want on your face. There's a lot of skill in that. You see a lot of photos, like if your friend is taking it, or in my case, my dad took my first photo. And so I had this look of like, I'm trying to please him. And that's not the image that you want, on your professional presence.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And then you have, this is what I thought was interesting, 5 ways every business owner could be using LinkedIn. So
yes.
I know of one, so I'm not even sure it's one of your 5. So I'd like to hear your 5.
Well, so I have the 5 that I have are not the obvious ones, but they're ones that are really, really important and give you a lot of leverage as a business owner. And so the first one is to build a referral network. So you can get in trouble on LinkedIn from reaching out to people you don't know and saying to them, hey, would you be interested in, my advice, my financial advice, or, would you like, what kind of application do you want developed for your business, right? And, instead, if you go out and you find people who have the potential to make referrals, and there are a lot of people who can make referrals to you, and you introduce yourself to those people, get a conversation started, you need far fewer relationships. And you can build, with even a dozen people who make referrals to you on a consistent basis, you can grow a pretty good-sized business. So LinkedIn is a great place to go find people who have a business that's slightly smaller than yours, or slightly larger than yours, or in a different geographic area, or that serves a related market, or that is in a customer right before they need you, or right after they need you. There's a world full of people out there who could be making referrals, and you can meet them on LinkedIn. So that's the first thing. The second is competitive intelligence. Now, you can find out so much information about your competitors online. You can look at, first of all, how they're presenting themselves. and you can see what keywords they're optimizing for. You can see what kind of content they're producing. You can see how well that content is working for them. You can tell in a lot of cases who their customers are, their clients are, and their partners. You can get a list of all the people who work for them, and you can understand kind of where those people got their experience, and that can help you differentiate. You can see when they announce new products and services, and you can see how well those are received. So there's just a huge amount of information that you can get. Even if you're a solopreneur, there are other people who are similar to you, and you can learn so much from them.
Wow. But they can see that you're looking, though.
So you can surf anonymously.
Okay.
Right? You can turn that on your LinkedIn profile. So you can go look at profiles without them knowing.
Okay.
But I don't encourage that. I think, lots of times a competitor can end up being a partner in some ways. And so let them see who you are, that you're taking a look. It depends on the industry, right? Some industries are, you have more confidentiality issues than others and more competitiveness.
Right. But I like that, because I do think it's more of, we're all in this together kind of a thing. So, but we can still be better than somebody else.
I think we can be different, right? Nobody's the perfect solution for everybody, but you are the perfect solution for a specific group. And referring to other people who are a better fit for certain types of clients just makes life better for everyone. And I feel like it's also, paying it forward, right? Putting good karma out into the universe.
And I did that too. I mean, I got a call last week to ask me if I was able to run a fashion show. And I don't do that. It's very time consuming for me. It's not my jam, not my favorite thing to do. But I know another stylist who loves doing that, and that's who I recommended,
Right.
Let me ask you a question. I connect with a lot of people on LinkedIn, and a lot of people connect with me. And I got a request to connect. We had a few mutual connections. I said yes. And then I get a message from her telling me, a little bit what she does and how she likes to help women connect, and can we meet for a virtual coffee? So now so part of me is saying, well, that's very sweet. The other part of me is saying, I just got to know you, and it's like, it's happening too fast. Like, I don't know how I feel about taking the time out to meet with someone who I don't even know. I mean, what's the right etiquette?
So that's a really common problem. And my short answer is, if it's somebody who's asking you to have coffee too soon, you're probably not going to get anything out of it, because it's an unsophisticated person. That's, but the way you can respond and still be polite is to say, I'm sorry, I don't have any availability now. If you want to send me some information about your business, I'd be happy to take a look at it.
Okay. Because it's under the guise of I can help you, but again, I don't really know you.
Well, she does.
I'm whispering like you can hear me.
Right. I mean, they have no way of knowing, because if they can help you, right?
That's true.
But again, you have to take a look at their LinkedIn profile to get a sense of, realistically, can they help? Right? Is this somebody who is associated, right, in some way? Or, what I find is that people who really you're going to have a genuinely good conversation with, those people will have something very specific in mind. They'll say, I'm looking for a speaker at this event, or I'm looking for a referral to somebody, or,
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Right? They're gonna have a very clear ask.
Right.
And what we tell clients is, when you ask for a conversation, you need to be very specific about three things. First of all, why you have asked them, right? What was unique about them or different about them? What made you think they would be a good person to talk to. And then the second thing you need to be clear about is why you, right? Why are you reaching out to them? What do you have for them? What do why are you a fit there? And the third thing is, what do you want them to do? You need to be crystal clear about what your ask is. And what we find is that when you are very specific and very personalized about the way you approach this, why you've reached out to them, what it is about you, right? Why you're reaching out, and then what you want them, what's the action you want, you get a pretty good number of responses.
Right. So it's like being more a person than a robot.
There's so many bots out there, and LinkedIn works really hard to kick them out and to break automations. But right. There's still people out there who are doing spamming using LinkedIn.
Yeah. So how, because how does somebody, what do you do for someone? Like, why would somebody come to you, and what do you do? Like, that's what I really want to understand better.
Sure.
So people are watching.
Well, so what we do is we help people create a strong presence. And that starts with a compelling LinkedIn profile. And so the first thing that we do for people is write LinkedIn profiles. So we interview them. We don't work off of a questionnaire. We talk to them about what they're trying to accomplish and what their goals are and who visits their profile that they care about and what they want people to know and what they want them to do. And then their personality, right? Who they are, and we want to capture their voice. And so we use that to craft their profile. And then the second part is, okay, now you've got this great profile. How are you going to use it? And we create what we call a personal social action plan. So in other words, a social media strategy for you. And that includes things like, who should you be adding to your network? And what's the best way to introduce yourself to those people? And what things should you be posting about? What hashtags should you be using? Frequency, how to tag people in the posts in addition to topic hashtags. And then also, what should you be blogging or doing videos about? And how can you get people into a conversation? So, we look at all of those things and we give them a plan. And then from there, they can go off and execute the plan, or we can execute it for them. And if we execute it for them, it's really important that they understand that we are still going to need 1 to 2 hours of their time every month, because if their personality, their issues, their concerns, their opinions are not in their social media presence, it's not going to work for them.
Makes sense. I have to mute my mic once in a while now because there's a leaf blower outside. Sorry.
You think it happened.
I have, you very generously have this checklist that is, I'm going to put it in the chat, that is a gift to whoever's watching now or at the replay. And just tell a little bit about that, because I think that's really important for people to grab, because I thought I knew a lot and I didn't, apparently. So,
Well, so we've been specializing in LinkedIn for 13 years now. So, and I've got 20 people and they're all immersed in LinkedIn. We do a little bit of Twitter and other platforms, but mostly we're on LinkedIn. And so there really is a lot of expertise built into that. And the checklist takes a look at the different sections of your profile, and it talks about, like, it gives you things to check off, right? To make sure that you're using, that you've optimized your profile and you're really getting the most out of it. Because, again, you're meeting people for the first time on LinkedIn. You want your story there to be as compelling as possible.
Right. Thank you so much, Judy. And make sure that your profile pic is visible. Very important. Don't be just a blank little avatar, whatever it's called. So this was really interesting. And I have to say that, LinkedIn is, I was talked into it by a good friend of mine who runs a PR agency. He talked me into it, I would say close to 20 years ago. 15 years ago, maybe he talked me into it, and it was still kind of new. And he said, you have to be on LinkedIn. You have to be on LinkedIn. I'm like, why? Well, he was right. And I went on it early on, and I keep changing my about me and all that. I keep doing it. So I see a lot of value in what you're offering, because you're always kind of, well, what about this? And what about that? And it would be nice to be a little bit more structured and really know,
Right.
So, thank you.
My pleasure. So let me offer one other thing, and that is that we do free LinkedIn office hours every Friday.
Oh, wow.
At from 1 to 1:30 Eastern time. And so anybody can just call into that and talk to one of our coaches, get personal feedback on your profile, get advice, and bounce ideas off of our coach.
Is that information on the checklist?
It's not on the checklist. It's on the website. It's proresource.com is the website. And there, if you go to the very bottom, it says office hours. And you can click on that link and get that page has all the information.
I'm going to try to put this in. Go to learn, as I'm typing this, about free Friday office hours. And let's hope that people pay attention and take advantage of that, because I think that's a great idea. That's wonderful. Okay. Put it in there. Hopefully you guys take advantage of that, because I think that's smart, Judy. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, we wanted to help people who have, simple questions, right? You shouldn't have to pay for a consult just, if you just want some feedback.
Right. That's great. Well, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm going to go to LinkedIn next. And and please, anybody here or on the replay, take a look at her list, follow the tips, because the way you come across on LinkedIn is incredible. If you are a professional, and I'm assuming you are, it's really important how you show up. It's not always just the outfit. It's how the first impression you make on your profile on LinkedIn is really, really important, so that you are invited for the opportunity to show up.
Right.
Whether it's in person or on Zoom, but they got to connect with you first there. So thank you. Thanks, Judy. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.